Hey guys, and welcome back to Destroyed Brexit Britain, a country that has been destroyed by its leader who is an absolute clown. And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all of your messages that you sent me, yeah, and a special thanks here to everybody who has signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So they're back again on the M25, holding up things. I believe it's junction 30, which is the Thurrock turn, which is actually the closest junction of the M25 to me. But luckily for me, I don't need to use round that way. And yes, I am talking about Insulate Britain, who also hit yesterday, yeah, twice, right? I believe Swanley, right? They hit there in the morning and then they hit there in the early afternoon as well, right? So obviously they're making a complete nuisance of themselves, right? I don't think the government's spoken to them at all as yet. So none of that has happened. So we're gonna see how that situation plays out. But that situation doesn't seem like is a good situation, right? But they're back again today, and a few of them have glued their hands down. The last thing I heard, the police was waiting for other officers who turned around with a debonding agent. I didn't even know there was such. I didn't even know such. I don't know. I kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's going on with them. Obviously, our fuel crisis, is still going on. We've got petrol stations blocked up all over. A lot of blocked up in London. Other parts of the country are saying that their petrol stations are quite are running okay. Do you know what I mean? And the government have brought out a new apparently some civilian drivers. I have this feeling, yeah, that the army might not have to come out and help on this one because I think that the fuel companies, yeah, have obviously had to take full control of this, right? Because let me tell you, the government themselves, yeah, they lost control of this, right? They just, they always said that, oh well, Boris Johnson, he's not really good at the detail, but he's good at organising. Yeah, okay then. Well, he certainly organised this country pretty well, hasn't he? Right, but yeah, so we got that still going on. Do you know what I mean? People still getting very angry in fuel queues and all of that. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that situation may well calm down soon. You'll be glad to know that I have a full tank of diesel myself. So you know, so hopefully people will be able to get theirs as well and be able to get to work. Do you know what I mean? And try and get the country back running again. Do you know what I mean? So we got we had Keir Starmer's speech yesterday, and I don't know. For me, do you know what I mean? If Labour are gonna be Tory light, and the Tories are gonna be Labour light in certain ways, right? I'm just talking about things. I'm just talking about things like the furlough scheme. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? Because that's a absolute socialist thing to do, right? Whoever's doubting that that's not socialist, right? You've got another thing coming because that right there is real socialism, yeah. Because at one stage there was 9 million people on furlough, right? 9 million, right? So there are countries who have got populations smaller than that, right? So that really is even though the furlough went out to certain people, but obviously, like the real working class, right? There was never any chance of any furlough for the real working class. No furlough for you. Do you know what I mean? If obviously all the people who are self-employed, there's no furlough for you. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you was one of those 3 million like me. There's no furlough. There's nothing. There's basically nothing there for you. Do you know what I mean? You just had to get your ass back out of work, right? If you worked in one of the supermarkets or something like that, no, there's no furlough for you. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't happening at all. Do you know what I mean? And you see in the first how quick they got the people like the restaurant workers like McDonald's and KFC and Burger King and all that. You see how quick their furlough didn't really last that long. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, them is they're real working class people. Do you know what I mean? You can't be paying them furlough for too long. Then people have got to get their ass back out there and work. Simple as that, right? And most of them, most of their wages is not really going to be that high. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't remember what the fella was. It was something like £2,500 a month or something like that. So there's not going to be much of them that's on that type of money. Do you know what I mean? That works in places like McDonald's or KFC, right? There's, do you know what I mean? Or, so and then then you think about things like all your police officers and your nurses. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the hospital workers. Do you know what I mean? There's be no furlough for them type of people. Do you know what I mean? All your refuge collectors. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the people who are working for the councils. Do you know what I mean? It's they're not really feeling no furlough. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people. It's much more. It's much more of like office based. Do you know what I mean? So therefore it would have been much more like your working middle classes. Do you know what I mean? That would have had the benefit of having things like your furlough scheme and that. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, the Labour Party, at the conference, obviously Keir Starmer's speech was like, as I said, it was very, 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 very Tory light. Do you know what I mean? Because, I don't know. Listen. I understand, that there's going to be a lot of businesses in this country, who cannot afford to pay someone £15 an hour, we're not on the left, right, or what they like to brand us as hard left, right, because just remember this, right, if you're like, what, £15 an hour doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like that much of a high wage. If you think in those terms, right, then you are hard left, right? You're hard left. That's who you are, right? You're anti-Semitic. You're hard left. That is who you are. Okay, that's how they brand you. Okay, that's how they brand me, right? So, so obviously Keir Starmer's talking about like £10, £10 an hour, which just, you know, I think at £15 an hour, it comes to about 31 grand. It comes to about 31 grand a year, right? So I heard one of the radio presenters saying, well, there's loads of businesses will go bankrupt if you pay that type of money. You say, well, you're on the radio talking now, yeah? Are you being paid more than £15 an hour? I bet you're probably £1,400-1,500 a show, right? So these are the type of people, who are making decisions about us, about we the working classes, right? We are just like, no, we're just their workforce. That's it. Do you know what I mean? We're just their workforce. Do you know what I mean? We're nothing more to them. We're nothing more, and and if we could be less, then they would make us less. But that's all we are to these people. Do you know what I mean? Whether you're talking about, and a lot of working class people themselves, right, are very much against, right, a £15 an hour minimum wage. Do you know what I mean? They're very much against it. Listen, I'm not fighting for a £15 an hour minimum wage, right? I just want to see both. I just want to see how both sides of this are in this. Do you know what I mean? Because like I know for a fact, it's living on £8.91, right, is a fucking hard life, right? However you look at it, right? Unless you're living, if you're living at home with your parents, then you know what, you're probably good, right? You live, you earn the minimum wage, right? And if you don't have no bills and that to pay, then you're probably good. Right? If you could just throw your mum and dad like a 50 a week or whatever, then you know what, then you'll be good on the minimum wage, right? But anything else, you're having a fucking hard time. However you look at it, you're having a hard time. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of those people, who are drawing those type of wages, right? Who more agree with the Tories' policies, right? Or with Keir Starmer, I think like if they gave us another, maybe another £1.11 an hour, right? They gave you that, right? That would that would improve your life. Oh, I mean, it'll give you. I mean, it'll give you like good McDonald's meal. End of the day, That's what you know. That's you know that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it just depends on how you know. It just depends on how you look at things. Do you know what I mean? You know. But yeah. So this is the thing. I mean, I you know, as I said, I understand, yeah, that a lot of people can't afford to pay £15 an hour. I mean, it's just gonna, you know, it would just cripple them. So I mean, you know, I mean, you know, the government could say, well, you know what? I mean, if you're putting in, if your profits, yeah, is say you put in £1 million of profits, right? Then you can damn well afford to pay your staff 15 fucking pound an hour, right? Depending on how much staff you've got, of course. if you've got, you know, if you've got 1,000 staff and you're putting in, you're putting in £1 million in profits, then obviously you've got something going wrong with your business, right? But you know, if you've got 1,000 staff, you're only putting in £1 million of profits, then you probably can't. Yeah, you're probably going to struggle. Do you know what I mean? To pay like £15 an hour or whatever. But I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You know, this is. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It depends on what people want out of life. Do you know what I mean? And it depends on how, you know, because some people hoard. Some people hoard all the money. They've got people working for them, and they hoard all the money, while the workers are the people who are running their businesses for them. Do you know what I mean? And being paid a pittance for that. Do you know what I mean? So much so that they have to be on like universal credit or tax credits. So it depends on what type of society that we're looking for. If we're looking for this high wage society, yeah, high wage society, so or are we just going to carry on with like the low wage society? Do you know what I mean? Because remember they said we leave the EU, right, and we're gonna get ourselves a high wage society, but straight away they're fighting against it immediately. They're fighting against it immediately. So I just had this just a few minutes ago, right? We just listened to the radio, right? And a woman phoned up, and she was one of the hecklers, right? Who was, well, this is what they said, that she was one of the people who was a heckler, right? And so she was just being interviewed on the radio, right? So she said no, I wasn't heckling. I was just basically shouting out, about women's rights. And because this woman's from, I think she's from Leytonstone, right? Just shouting about women's rights, right? And about the £15 minimum wage. Do you know what I mean, right? So the presenter was like, well, all you people like that from the hard left and this and that and this and that, right? And said to her like, yeah, and then you guys are like anti-Semitic. At which stage she went like, well, I'm Jewish. And there it is, right, fucking there. I was just there, right in your motherfucking face, right, because you're speaking to a fucking Jewish woman, right, and this fool doesn't fucking realise, yeah, you see, because let me tell you this, right, you see when you see the EDL marching, right, and then across the road, right, you see Antifa, right, that's me, okay, that's me. Right, alongside fucking Jewish guys that I'm fighting beside, right? Me and Jewish guys are fighting against the fucking EDL, fist fighting against the fucking EDL, right? On a fucking regular basis, this has happened, okay, right? But these people have managed to brand me as anti-Semitic, right? Me and these Jewish guys, right? We speak about fucking Israel, but that's what we do. We speak about it, right? And we discuss the fucking matter. Okay, that's what we do. We don't fucking fight about it. We never fucking fight about it, right? But these people, right, have managed to brand people like me as anti-Semitic, right? That's how fucking good they are. They're fucking brilliant, right? While I'm out, right, fighting against real fucking fascists, right? Alongside Jewish guys, alongside Muslim guys, okay, right? Alongside Caucasian white guys. We are fighting against the people like the EDL because we, yeah, are people like fucking Antifa. So that is who these people are branding, right, as anti-Semitic. Okay, so just think about that. When you think about that, right, understand, right, this is what they've done to. This is exactly what they've done to Corbyn. Exactly the same thing. Oh yeah. Because you know what? They knew after what happened in 2017, they knew they had to stop that motherfucker. They knew that. Right? They could not allow him to get anywhere near number 10. They knew that. So if you notice, yeah, let me tell you this, right? The radio station, right, that I listen to, right, for 2 summers straight, every day was about the Labour Party and anti-Semitism for 2 years straight, right? One of the presenters was doing it, or two of them, or three of them sometimes, every single day, branding people like me as anti-Semitic, right? These people, when I tell you these people are good, these people are fucking good when it comes down to it. They're fucking liars, but they're good when it comes down to it because they know exactly what strings to pull. They know exactly what strings to pull, right? So when these people are branding Labour as anti-Semitic, it's me they're talking about. Okay, that's the people. I'm the type of person they're talking about, right? And let me tell you this, yeah, right? I'll be the first person, right, to stop someone abusing a Jewish person or a Muslim or or a woman or any person, right, on a train, on a bus, anything like that. That doesn't go on in front of me. Okay, never goes on in front of me. I stand up and I'm counted straight away, right? And if I need to get into a fight over it, then that's what I would do. Okay, but these people, right, have the fucking cheek, the audacity, and the liberty to brand people like me as anti-Semitic. Trust me on this, right? That's how these people are going on, right? So anyway, Brexit, right? So I see Mark Drakeford, right, who just he's the leader of I think it was the Welsh First Minister, right? But he's another one who's just come out and said, listen. I just see him in their parliament. I can't remember what it's called, right? But he was just telling one of the Tories, listen, all of this is down to Brexit. All of this you see going on is all down to Brexit, right? And I think Wales voted heavily for Brexit, but people like Drakeford and obviously Nicola Sturgeon Nicola Sturgeon's been there from day one. Even just after the vote, she was like she was pissed about it. So she's been pissed about it forever. Do you know what I mean? Right. So and then look, we've got like the situation with the 5,000 visas. Right. To be honest, right, from what I've been hearing, yeah, I don't really think there's going to be too much EU drivers, right, are going to take this up. I think that we might have to go further afield. They might have to start looking in places like India or in Africa, do you know what I mean, Pakistan, places like that. Which, as you guys said before, right, that we should like interact more with the with those type of countries. Do you know what I mean? So if I believe it's the Commonwealth countries. You guys said that we should interact more with the Commonwealth countries and do more business with them. So if we're going to give I have no problem giving like visas to to Indians and Africans. I don't even know why I laughed then because I was trying to actually be really serious. Because I can see the racist genius thinking, hold on a minute, hold on, can't we get some white Europeans? Can't we get some white? But you told the white Europeans to go home. You said to them, get the fuck out of here, right? So we could bring some. We could, if possible, we could bring some more Indians and some Africans up in here. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind. But yeah, so Mark Drakeford, yeah, is just like, there's quite a few politicians who are coming out now and just telling it as it is. I haven't heard Keir Starmer come out and tell it as it is because you know what? They can't, because Labour, right, went and voted for the fucking deal. Do you know what I mean? Whereas they should have abstained, and right now, yeah, they could have been crucifying the Tories because there's a lot of people who say, oh well, people don't want to hear about the mistake they've made, or don't want to hear about it. Well, you need to fucking know about the mistake you made, you racist motherfuckers, right? You voted for this shit. It's your fault, right? I hope every single Brexiteer watches this video one day. This is your fault. 140,000 of our citizens are dead because of the clown you put in charge of this country, okay? Right? We've got fights in petrol stations because of the clown you put in charge of this country. All of this is down to you. You Brexiters, right, are a bunch of racist arses, right? And each and every one of you should hold your head in shame. Right, feel ashamed of yourself. Feel ashamed of yourself for the rest of your life because you people have destroyed Great Britain. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm DMC John Rubes. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.